Good afternoon. George Cavaligos for HFT Bonds. Just like yesterday, again, guys, market was bouncing up overnight a little bit. We made some slightly higher highs. We actually got right back up to the old lows on the 10-year at 124.23 and failed from there. Now we've seen the market sell off again on the data this morning and then spend 90% of the day trying to bounce back. And we actually recovered the old lows today and then failed miserably going into the close here. What is it, about 2:30, a little bit after the pit close. The selling started right around the pit close, a little bit before actually, and we're poking around the earlier lows right now. I want to highlight a level that I think is going to be kind of important for tomorrow's non-farm payroll data. If you look at the 10-year daily chart, there's an old gap that we left actually down below the market. It goes from 122.22 to 122.23 plus. I think we're going to go fill that gap on the data tomorrow. What we do from there is the interesting fact. Again, I think we could see a pattern like the last 2 days, like today and yesterday, where we go down on the data, put in some kind of a low, and then bounce. Today's low around 124.07 was exactly the low from, what was it, October 16th, I think, on the 10-year. Bonds have actually taken out all those previous lows except for the old lows at 128.12 on the bonds. So tomorrow's low on the bonds, look for that 128.12 level. Look for the gap to get filled in the 10-year down around 123.22 to 123.23 plus. That's hard to say. And then look for a bounce from there. And then we'll see what happens from there. I think, again, we could see the same kind of pattern where the market will tend to bounce a little bit. Being Friday, and if the data is negative, I don't think the bounces will be as good as they were today, but I do think we could see a bit of a bounce off that low again. Usually Friday, the market doesn't really reverse intraday. Tends to go in one direction and keep going in that direction at times. So if we do test that level and we bounce off there, take a shot at whatever the bounce is, maybe we get back up towards today's lows again at 124.07, if we take out those lows on the number and then look for those types of things. These old lows have become very good resistance levels. Worked like a champ last night, especially on the 10-year. The bonds did not bounce as much. I think the high in the bonds was, 129.15? Let me check, hold on. 129.13. The old low was 129.20, so the bonds are a lot weaker than the 10-year has been. Obviously, the curve has steepened quite a bit. We did see a little bit of flattening today. 10-year's down 11, the bonds are only down 10 right now. So guys are unwinding some of those steepeners in front of the data tomorrow, taking some profits off. That's, common sense, I guess. But whether we see that tomorrow, I would tend to doubt it unless the number's a surprise. And then, all bets are off if the number's a surprise. And then keep an eye on last night's highs. Those are going to be important resistance levels too. 124.23 and 129.13 to 129.20. Those are going to be important resistance levels on the upside now. So you got your levels. Good luck tomorrow with the data. I don't go in with a position. I will wait till after the data is out, and then there'll be plenty of opportunities in that first hour to trade. My favorite trade is if the number is very negative and we bounce off of that first low at, let's say we go down to that 22 level, fill the gap, and then bounce. I'm going to try and short that first bounce. That's usually my favorite trade after a big, spike on the data. So that's the game plan. Hope you guys can join us in our webinar. It starts in 20 minutes. Ashraf will be on for about a good hour from 3 to 4 Chicago time. And then I usually come on around 4 Chicago time. Try to get some ideas for tomorrow's data and looking forward as we move through this big move that we're seeing here. So have a great night, everybody. Hope to see you in the webinar and hope to see you in the chat room and in the morning email.